But I'm gonna keep this hand. Good hand on the play. Match 1. Played some Jeskai. Think Jeskai is real good right now. I'm really excited for it. Is 404 not found related to 104.3a? Yeah, pretty similar, I'd say. Thanks for all the good lucks, all the well wishes. We're gonna need it. This is a 10 round, 413 person PTQ. Yikes. But we've got a good hand, we've got a good deck, we've got a good chat, and we've got the whole day. I look like Val Kilmer from Top Gun? Hell yeah. This is usually how I like my hair. I've just gotten, like, 3 haircuts in the last year. Let's be in the finals, hopefully. Opponents here, they've mulliganed to 6. So they're last seen playing Bants? The Bants Company Stoneblade deck? With Ephemerate? Oh, this looks like a tough matchup. If that's what they are playing. Yikes. At least you've got a good hand. Oust better than Path Count 1 on the day so far. They're drawing another Noble next turn. They're playing Spirits. Yeah, I think we're supposed to Mana Leak Wanderer. Just like turns off my Cryptic next turn if I don't. Pretty easy call. And then they decide to Image Hierarch instead of just casting the one that they drew for turn. Kind of weird. Although triple Hierarch is definitely a threat. You know, last week I played 1 round of the challenge and it was against blue-white Spirits and I got crushed. I actually feel like Bant Spirits is a bit of a better matchup because they play less Caverns. I'll let this resolve. But neither is great. I'm gonna counter draw. Smacked for 3. Thanks, Randy. Oh boy. I think we're taking 4 this turn. If they attack, they can't Coco. So they have Coco in their hand. So let's just save the Cryptic for that. I think casting this was a mistake. I think they should have attacked. Okay, so am I going to Cryptic the Coco, or am I going to Mana Leak and then hold up Helix / Snare? Probably better to do that. It's also kind of nice if they just don't cast the Coco into my open mana. Then I can Helix whichever Hierarch attacks, and then still Mana Leak Coco on their turn. Yeah, that was a good draw. So I'm hoping they don't attack with the imaged copy. Yeah, because so I can gain my life. So I think this was actually a mistake to not attack with the imaged copy. If they have a Spell Queller here, yeah, it's pretty bad. We can't Mana Leak it. So we basically know for sure that their last card is Coco. I think I'm gonna cycle Typhoon for 0. Best draws are probably like land plus bolts. That's a land. Pass back. Queller's attacking for how much? 6? Yikes. And this Coco is, gonna be not super easy to deal with either. They can even pay for Mana Leak now. think we're supposed to take 6. I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna hope here that my opponent plays around Force of Negation, which I think is a pretty reasonable line for them to take in this spot. Oh, I probably should have gotten like Mountain instead. No, they Coco in response. Fair enough. I have some good draws from here, though. Man, Wanderer is a problem. We could just rip our 1 copy of Verdict. Not quite that lucky. If my opponent has an instant speed, I guess we could Spell Snare some of them. No, we can't, because then they can Wander. If they have any instant speed Spirit, we lose. Yeah, the round track, I think MTG bot is down. Good draw. Good draw, opponent. I do think the Platinum package is worth bringing in this matchup. We'll see if our opponent is ready for it. I kind of expect that they will be. Probably going to play like 1 or 0 fours. I think I'm going to play 0 Jace against the Queller deck. Actually, I think that Mana Leak and Logic Knot are fine. Might cut like the 3rd Wildfire. I think Typhoon is good. I think the Teferi, both Teferis are good, I think. Could probably cut the 3rd, at least, Cryptic Command. I think 2 Cryptics are pretty important because you can just like a lot of times that's how you actually win once you put Emperion in play. There's Cryptic tap their team. Alright, let's submit this. Do I ever feel that I need more than 1 Verdict in 75? I mean, when I play against Spirits, yeah. But as far as this deck, I'm trying to target a metagame of like, you know, Blue-Red Prowess, Heliod, various control decks, big mana decks. But yeah, I feel like I need more Verdicts when there's just a million creatures in play that I haven't been able to answer. This hand has the Verdict. What this hand doesn't have is red mana, but I think I'm going to keep. I'm going to play Flagstones on turn 1, so if I draw a second Flagstones, I can get a Triome. It's like, you know, it's very easy to like wish we had more Verdicts when we play against Spirits, and it's a little tilting because last week in the challenge I also played against Spirits round 1 and lost because it's just not a very good matchup and just bad beats, you know. Don't think I'm mana leaking that. I'm a little worried about Selfless Spirit, but Verdict is a good answer to Wanderer, and I think it's better to not mana leak there. There's red mana. There's red mana. Spirits win the Mox. I didn't notice that. If that was the case, maybe I wouldn't have chosen to play this today. I didn't know that. Hierarch Vial and Coco is weird. It's pretty standard for Banned Spirits. Not that Banned Spirits is a super standard deck, I guess. I think we're supposed to fire off the Supreme Verdict before our opponent can Queller it. Yes, if they have Selfless Spirit, then it's just a 1-for-1, but the fact that, you know, I'll take my 2-for-1, especially with 3 more spot removals and spells in hand, and just if they can Queller the Verdict, it gets pretty awkward. Oh wait, they just had 3 mana up. Maybe still the play. I don't know why I thought they only had 2 mana available. Still haven't finished this. That being said, if we get to just kill the Queller next turn, things are looking good. The problem is if they have Drogskull Captain to Violin. So I think I'm going to wait. So best case scenario, they Queller my Mana Leak, and then I get to bolt the Queller. They force pitching the Drogskell Captain. This feels like one of those games where I just need them to not have a second Drogskell Captain in their hand to win, and they're gonna have it. Would Ousting and still give us our 2-for-1? No, because I'm playing around them having Drogskell Captain in their hand. Like here like we just lose if their last card is a second Drogskell Captain. And I guess I should play around it being any 3-mana spirit by bolting instead of helixing. But I don't really feel like we have another line. Vial at 3. I know that, yeah, the Vial's at 3. And they just have the second captain. But I think that it's just we can't play around this. I'm not sure. Are we dead on board? 5. I think we are. 8, 11, 12, 13. No, we go to 1. So we actually win if they didn't draw a spirit this turn. Or not win, but we stabilize. Yeah, we are down a game. Yeah, 1-1 on Oust being better than Path. Fair enough. We also die if they drew Force of Negation. Is Teferi the best line here? I don't think so because of the Wanderer, right? If we Teferi first, they can counter whatever spell we play. Oh my gosh, what a stressful game this has been. They're drawing Queller next turn, but if we get Teferi down, then that should be fine. What is this that they've drawn? A Supreme Phantom. They were bouncing the Phantom. Okay, and then we can play around Queller on the Logic Knot by just making the Logic Knot at least 5. Opponent's last card in hand is Queller. They, usually you can't Queller underneath Teferi, but of course they have Vial on 3. Have I run into the Goryo's deck? I haven't played against it, but I do think that deck is pretty cool. Dude, this has been such a stressful game, and we still have game 3 to play, but I think we're gonna win. Would it be worth playing Big Teferi last turn, knowing that they had Queller? Well, the problem is that if we play Big Teferi this turn, then our opponent will get to Queller my Teferi Time Raveler the next turn. Was my thinking. They don't Violin Spell Queller, which is weird. Not really sure what the thinking is there. It's a great draw, of course. So if they drew exactly Rattle Chains, we'd be in some trouble. Well, I guess whatever they drew, we know what they drew. It was Supreme Phantom. Yeah, their draw has been amazing both games, for sure. Although we did get lucky they didn't top deck the Spirit. I mean, they had to add 2 captains, Force Coco. Never mind, their draw has been really good. Not perfect, but very good. Let me see where they attack. They attack me. It's gonna take 1. Nice. I guess I kind of like just hardcast Typhoon, hold up Cryptic. How many players today? Over 400. It's like, it's nuts. Andrigi, 5 months. Hope you're having a good day today, buddy. Hope you're having, thank you for your subscription. Right, going down to 2. I've been at 2 life plenty of times. Been at 1 life even more often. I'm going to bounce their Vial, draw a card here. And be more than content if my opponent quellers this. TW, thank you for your 5 months. I know I can snap Verdict on their turn. I'm aware. Thank you for the heads up, though. Alright, I'm going to try to win this game without casting this Madcap. Should be pretty doable. Going to game 3. I'd love that I got to win that game without showing the Madcap. Titan Spike, 4 months. Thank you, buddy. Welcome back. Opponent is watching stream. Is that something we know for sure? Oh, it is. Well, screw you, opponent. We're doing the hand hider. But now do I board out the... Thanks for the heads up. Now I got a Tobo Slobo. Thank you for your Twitch Prime subscription. And our opponent is in the chat. Pretty lame. Let me think about if I want to side out the Madcap plan, though. Yeah, I mean, I kind of assumed my opponent might be ghosting last round when they just didn't vial in the Queller when I drew the Helix. It was a little sus, so... Yeah, my Goofinger, I do not see them in chat. They were definitely in chat when I looked. I still see them in chat. They're the first one that comes up because their name starts with a number. They're like literally the first person. No, I don't have a delay on. I have the hand hiders, so they have all the information that they would normally. Exerm, thank you for a Twitch Prime. Hope you're having a good day, buddy. They did keep a 1-lander, which is pretty nice. Yeah, definitely land if they're doing this. Hey opponent, I have Helix in my hand. I have Teferi Time Raveler in my hand. Get to bounce the vial, which is nice. Yeah, opponent's playing a lot faster now. My hand's really strong. They let the Helix resolve, valuing the Wanderer over the Supreme Phantom. Sure is nice for me that they don't just have perfect information about that decision. How lucky. My hand's still a really strong opponent. I guess I can attack too. They have glasses off so they can't read the reflection. It's funny. Easy. How do we know our opponent is ghosting? Their username was in chat. It's not in chat anymore. But just like exactly 6 Argamel was in chat, and now they've left after we've caught them in their tomfoolery. But they like I do not accuse my opponent of ghosting unless we see their username in chat, and we did. I'm very consistent about that, about just not accusing someone that we don't definitely know is ghosting, and you know, maybe just leave it to the Spirits player to ghost. Let me Helix now, just in case they have Queller or Drugskull Captain. They could have another Rattle Chains, but oh, awesome. Yeah, Helix resolving there feels like game over. Opponent does have 5 spells in their hand and, you know, 2 active files, but we have a Typhoon and a Hero of Dominaria. I don't need hand eye anymore. I mean, if they come back, you know, I'm going to feel like a fool. Just keep it on for the rest of the match. Second hardcast Typhoon. Base Biff. Yeah, they started playing faster. And also, in game 2, they had a Vial on 3. I had Teferi in play, and I drew a Helix. And they just didn't Vial on the Queller because they knew I had Helix. But I think they absolutely should have Vialed in the Queller with no information. Thank you, Base Biff. I don't know if I actually said that out loud, but I remember thinking, thank you, Base Biff. My opponent also would have never cast the Hierarch into this dispute if they were aware of my hand. Awkward hand. Keeping this. My opponent's mulled to 6. I think I'm putting back Lightning Bolt number 2. With open Decklist, although it would be pretty easy to choose something else, maybe. Interesting. I know that Taxes sometimes plays this card. Taxes is also not a great matchup, so it's not a terrible matchup, just not a great one. But being on the play, I'm feeling pretty good. But it's not Taxes. It's Oops All Spells. Wow. Let me cycle Typhoon for 0. Although seeing the white one is a little weird. I think I'm gonna let this resolve. It could be Belcher. It could be Belcher, and if that's the case, Force of Negation is gonna be really good to hold on to. So we can maybe just bounce, and then it's possible we can get some info that, oh yeah, I forgot that Oops All Spells and Belcher are just a great matchup because we have 4 main deck Wildfire. Been a while since I've played against the deck. So I will force Pinset Prism. Maybe not as good as it used to be, since no longer can we just Sanctuary back Wildfire. But I'm missing their land. No, they have another Prism. Okay. But only a Prism for one. Because we hit the white source. Which is what we were trying to do by hitting the white source. Thanks, Atos. This is usually how I like my hair. It's just, yeah. Haven't been getting haircuts. You won your LGS monitor with this deck last night. Also, yeah, I think Jeskai is great at the moment. Really good. Also, if they're Oops all spells, we do have Tails in the sideboard. We don't know if they're Belcher or Oops yet. Belcher is a really good matchup for whatever it's worth. So nice that there's just no monkey to worry about either. Oh, wow. I feel like this is Belcher. I think I'm counterbouncing a land so they can't play a 4-drop next turn. And that'll allow us an easier time just slamming Jace. Is it like ever going to be relevant to have Oust up? I can't really imagine, but like there's also like almost no cost associated with having it up here. I should call the deck Esper Inver Herder. I think Inverter Herder sounds better. I like Inverter Herder. I think I'm drawing a card first. Just trying to dig for a counterspell or a wildfire. We missed. Yikes. I'm gonna Jace again. So you keep digging. Okay. Play Flagstone so we can maybe get a shuffle if we draw another one. We still have all of our things up here. If they play Belcher, I think I let it resolve and bounce it with Fun Raveler next turn. Oh, it's this card. So this allows them to get a bunch of oracles. Let's mana leak that. I'm kind of scared of a bunch of oracles. I think that's how we could lose this game. Well, we're lucky enough to get a shuffle, I suppose. I'm gonna cycle it to Teferi. A lot of good draws in this spot. For as many turns as we've brainstormed with Jace, I'm not feeling very good. I think I'm going to fire off at least one burn spell here. Well, Pact of Negation doesn't do anything because of Teferi Time Raveler. But just like, if they can cast 2 oracles in a turn, we might not be able to deal with it. Oust Bolt beats Oracle into Teferi. Wow. Some sick tech. Another land. Opponent's playing a Belcher Thassa's Oracle combo deck that uses Selective Memory to exile their library. And then Oracle, or just like Belcher. Dude, our draws have been so unbelievably bad. I'm gonna bounce their Pinted Prism. And notably, we are just 1 burn spell away from killing them. So if we draw one here, we do win. But we just have so many crazy draws that they can just never beat. And I mean, yeah, Vantress is something. Just like Just like Cleansing Wildfire, Snapcaster Mage, Cryptic Command, Force of Negation are all just like unbeatable cards, and we've had a lot of looks and we just haven't found one. Okay, maybe not Wildfire, but got a lot of unbeatable cards. And now if they, I guess they can't Belcher me this turn. No guide. Yeah, I'm gonna triple bolt them. Yeah, I think it's correct because now it's just like any burn spell kills them, and we have a lot of draws. And I probably will castle looking for something if I brick again. Oh, they just conceded. Assuming that I've been able to sculpt my hand, but not exactly true. What if they just like have like Geist of Saint Traft in their sideboard? What am I gonna do? What would I ever do if they have just like a random beatdown plan? I think it's better to have burn spells for Teferi. Excuse me. Excuse me. Ooh. I think we keep, actually. Wildfire is insane against them. We're on the draw. We have Force and we have Dispute. Yeah. I know that we don't have a red source, but we're on the draw. We have 2 pieces of interaction until we draw a red source, and Wildfire is just the nuts in this matchup. And Teferi is also very good. Then the opponent's mulled to 5 here. Did they show non-blue MFCs? They showed white ones. They showed white ones. Poggers. I think it'd be a good easy game here. Maybe I'm calling my shots a little too quickly. I think I'm actually supposed to Wildfire their white source, right? Because that way it's going to be harder for them to Pin-Tide Prism. No, let's get the blue source. I don't know. I feel like this hand was a keep. We're just like pretty likely to hit. I'm a very lucky player that should also have factored into the keep mulligan decision, right? This is a good matchup. Poor opponent getting queued in against us. I'm happy to trade any 1-for-1 here. Alright, this will probably be a concession, right? Opponent, I admire your tenacity. I admire your warrior spirit. You're stronger than all of us. You're stronger than everyone here in chat put together. Is this Reduke's alt? Might be. Is Jace Plus not correct? We could take any. I don't think Jace Plus is correct. If they play, we want them to play a land next turn, so that way we can bounce Snapcaster and Wildfire them again. But also, you can take any line here and win. Doesn't matter. Let's do that. Could also just be better to Ephemerate to Skyclave, but again, I just want to end this match so I can play my PTQ match. Okay. So yeah, so with Inverter on top, I guess even if they cast Meddling Mage naming Oracle, we don't lose because we just can flicker Oracle that's in play. So I don't think my opponent has out. Playing against Mill, well, we do have a Nexus of Fate in the board, so I'm feeling pretty good about that, and our hand is pretty good. Guess I should have fetched. Let me just end this game real quick, and then we'll focus on the PTQ. We can Thassa's Oracle 3 different ways. What did we lose to? We haven't lost in the PTQ, but in this tournament, in the league, we lost to... I guess... Why am I at 6? I'll force a... the artifact, but I won't force Glimpse. Yeah, Mesmeric Orb. They shocked, so I'm not 100% sure what that means. I think I'm not supposed to cast a burn spell right there. I will cast this. I think we're supposed to jam. They don't play that many counter spells, although they have one here. This matchup is bad, but we have Nexus of Fate, which I think makes the matchup. Does Wildfire feel better positioned with the Tron Resurgence after the last round of bans? Yeah. I really like this deck right now. Put in Emrakul. I mean, I think that you would play Ulamog. One thing I like about Nexus is you can board it in against control decks, you can board it in against big mana decks where you have dead cards, and the Eldrazi is just a dead sideboard card otherwise, and is very good against Mill. I guess I'm getting Plains. Do I have more fun with Bant or Jeskai? I don't know. I have a lot of fun with both. It's close. Shark. How do they beat Nexus of Fate? If they could mill you out before you hit 7 mana, they beat you. But, you know, you are a... And also, like, if you don't have a win condition in play. But it is tough for them to beat, I think. And one thing I really like about Nexus is having Nexus of Fate means once their game plan starts to actively work in your favor because they just mill you towards infinite. And they also can't surgical Nexus of Fate like they can Ulamog or Kozil. I don't think Emrakul is the go-to mill hoser. I think that the 10 mana one is like, at least from what I've seen, way more. They have another. Oh, Visions. Yeah, probably losing. Well, that's true. If we draw Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, and get to 5 mana, we can maybe choose a win. I think I'm pitching Cryptic. I have no idea, Gabriel. I think I'm not bouncing something. I just want to be able to kill both right now. Just want to draw a red source. Failed to draw a red source. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Watsy said it was a bug, but it's also like crazy they haven't fixed it by now. I guess everybody will just have to come to twitch.tv/aspiringspike for deck lists. They cling to dust, Logic Knot. It's not really a sign of strength for them to be doing this. Having to Helix, having to use 2 burn spells on Lurrus effectively because they also had the crab. It's so devastating. Like if they just didn't have Lurrus in this spot, you know, we could maybe just kill, you know, burn them out. But we like absolutely. What happens if you mill Nexus and other cards in a single mill instance? I don't know. It's real weird. I guess I let this. Their hand seems like it's not very strong, at least. We can instant speed Oust, and I guess I'll keep this leak up. How many Snapcasters do we have left? We have 1 Snapcaster. Definitely bringing in the Nexus. Gonna cut the Ousts, cut the Verdicts, play 5 burn spells for the crabs. I guess Wildfire is also. I mean, it's okay to Wildfire your own Flagstones, but Wildfiring them with a crab in play is usually pretty bad. It's also like awkward against the trap deck, but just I think I'm gonna keep in 3 and keep the 6 burn spells. Submit this and also use the restroom. Glad we registered Nexus. Hopefully we can. Alright, on the play against Mill. Punch Mill to 5. Good sign for us. Sounds good. I'm gonna keep. Of course. Yeah, maybe I should have forced the Cling. I don't know. Just like forcing their 1 mana spell feels so. Not going to Scoreblade. I think Jeskai's a little bit better positioned for a tournament like this, where I think Jeskai has a good matchup against Blue-Red Prowess and Heliod, where it's like much closer for Squirrelblade. Squirrelblade tends to be better against like random decks, which is all we've played against. I'm shocking here, so if they have Trap, I can dispute it. I think I mana leaked this. I know that I could maybe save the leak for. And just Helix the guy, but I think I'm fine just using my mana. Jund is the worst matchup. I don't know. Jund is probably favored, but it's not that bad. And even if it is, it's it's still Jund. You can just outplay them. Stinging Teferi is great here. Could have Helix the crab, but yeah, but then we'd take like probably 6 mil. And like they could have put Lurrus into the hand. Alright, I guess I'll plus to maybe instant speed Wildfire them. I'm not saying Jund players are bad, it's just like even in Jund's good matchups, they're like ahead by like 5%, you know? The Jund matchup is not super lopsided in their favor. You know, it's not. I'm not like terrified against playing against Jund. It's just pretty close matchup, and a really fun one too. And Jund is also not a popular deck, especially at tournaments like this. It's I would estimate out of the 400 players, there are 5 or less Jund players. When I've rooted Jund, I mean, when people say Jund, they don't usually mean Shadow. But I'm referring to Jund mid range. Yeah, I think I'll leave it to Hardcast Force. Wasn't better to let Lurrus resolve and then kill with Helix? I mean, when they crack fetch, maybe not. Did they play the fetch land first? If so, then that was probably the better line. Yeah. wouldn't mind drawing a wild or a Flagstones here. So now once we get to 7 mana, the game ends. So I'm gonna keep 2 lands pretty easily here. And with Teferi in play, we can just fetch it a turn. We don't need to worry about getting trapped. Do you have any advice for a standard draft player looking to get into Paper Modern? Yeah, I do. I typically advise the same thing every time. It's that, you know, finding a new deck in a format that you're getting into is always a really fun and exciting time. And I would recommend looking at all the deck lists that are popular in the format that you want to get into on MTG Goldfish, or whatever site is your preferred deck list site, and find a deck that looks cool to you, and then just pick it up and start playing. Or with a rental service or proxying it with your friends, just pick it up and start playing it and start learning it. And if you still think the deck's cool, great, master it. If you don't like it and you play against a deck you think is also cooler, start playing that. But that's my advice. I don't like to advise specific decks because just everybody thinks so many different decks are cool, and again, just like finding the deck that you think is cool is so fun and exciting. All right, I'm going to show my opponent Nexus and see if they just scoop. How does the opponent interact with Nexus? They 104.3A. I really don't think they can beat it. I just like it. Like now their mill game plan means I'm taking in. So like you want to be drawing cards with Jace here, because as soon as you get to no cards in your library, the game. Force of Negation beats Nexus, not with Teferi. Time Raveler in play. They have to kill Teferi. Yes, but yeah, you're right. That a counterspell can potentially get them out of this. Specifically Force, because it actually exiles it forever. But sometimes countering the extra turn can be a bit taxing, because then you have to like start casting it in your upkeep. But in that spot, there really wasn't much they could do. They did mulligan to 5 that game. So we might lose the game 3. Yeah, Teferi is really hard for them to deal with, exactly. Yeah, Platinum Angel would be pretty good against Mill, although they do have some. Hand's kind of stinky. No, I don't think you want to bring in bad cards against Mill. Like, I mean, if I had like a couple of like cards that are kind of reasonable here, I'd play them. But I think none of these are very good. So, can't they make us draw cards? I mean, they might be able to. I think I'm gonna keep. Like, yeah, we could maybe play the Oust, but I don't know. It's close. Yeah, I'm playing Tails into the sideboard again. I feel like it's better against Tron than Rejection, but it's obviously pretty close. Yikes. Man, they had a good start. I'm going to play around Trap, or sorry, I'm going to play around them drawing Trap for turn by... I don't know if I'm going to cycle my Typhoon or not. Oh, of course they have Trap. And we haven't hit Nexus yet. They don't have another land. I think I am going to cycle my Typhoon. I'd like to find Force of Negation really badly. Although, did I mill over all the forces? No. We also need to hit lands. This does mill us for 2 more. I did hit Force, wow. So now I can force the orb on the way down if they don't counter my Teferi. Oh, running kind of low on fetchables. Scary spot to be in. Please don't count. I mean, I have another one, but then I get milled for 3 more, and just a tough spot. Their hand has been very, very good. retreats, I guess. I don't know that we can win. Maybe we can. We'll play. And we still haven't milled over 3 lands too. We still haven't milled over Nexus once yet, which is kind of unlucky. Field is really bad for us. I mean, I think Mill is a good deck because it has a good Heliod matchup. They have a 3rd orb. That was a tough match, dude. Fetch lands, no cheap cantrips besides Ephemerate. And it's also like if we need to refill our graveyard, what we can do is we can just we can put a mixed snare here because we're playing Mounted on turn 1 to Wildfire on turn 2. We can just flicker Inverter. Cliffs go. Is this actually Jund? Would love to not see Wrenn and 6 plus fetch land on turn 2. That's half of the formula of Wrenn and 6 plus fetch land. I guess we can Bolt Helix and take our 3 for 1. Kroxa. Alright, not too bad. Guard Bolt, I think. How cool. I guess they're not playing the Cottage list, actually, since they have Cliffs. But it'd be pretty cool if we were playing against that deck we were playing last week. I like that deck. I'm probably going to keep working on it. Now, I really hope my opponent does not discard my Snapcaster, because I'd love to just go Snap Wildfire Flagstones next turn. If I knew I was drawing a land, I don't think I would have discarded the Bolt. They do discard the Snapcaster. Could definitely lose this game to Flood. If we do. I think it's a good matchup, though. I think I want to hold a Tarn for Jace, and I think I want to represent Cryptic Command by playing Island. Oh, well, these not so bad. Yeah, rest in peace, Mystic Sanctuary. They can escape Kroxa next turn. I think I'm still helixing this. Spell, please. Okay. Yeah, they're playing Rakdos midrange. Discard Swamp. They can escape Kroxa here, and I hope that that's what they're doing. I think it's way better to draw a card than to bounce Liliana here. With the Lily being at 2 loyalty. Yes! Sick draw. Easy Brainstorm. Nice. So I'm gonna leave the Oust on top. I guess I could have played the Flooded Strand actually, and like maybe they plus and discard a card there. Yeah, that was a bit better. Cool. Now we'll. So next turn. Just brainstorming. I'm not gonna bottom it. You just have so many answers to Channeler, like Lightning Helix. Well, I think the main reason to hardcast Typhoon here is my opponent can never ever beat it. That would be the main reason. I guess I should have left Force blue card in hand. Probably doesn't matter because I have access to the second Jace anyways. This is the third time we've hardcast Typhoon this tournament. The Typhoon of Doom. Main deck feed, this were my guess, yeah. Be pretty unreasonable unless the metagame has adjusted for the hardcast Typhoon. Might be getting a concession here, yeah. Feeling good, feeling good. I do like Aether Gust against them. I might play 1 Force, I might play 0 Force. Kind of like the first Force before like the fourth. I mean, so I cast 2 against Spirits, and I cast 1 against just now. What was the 4th time? I remember having 2 in play against Spirits. Did I hardcast it 3 times in the Spirits matchup? Maybe I do want a Tail's End. Yeah, 6. I'll probably play the second Tail's End on the play too, just countering fetch lands is pretty good on the play. Opponent lost connection. Is Snare not good in the Toski deck because we're early turn tap out deck? Yeah, that's my thinking. Although I mean the Snare is a good card. It'd probably be fine to play 1. What's the main goal of Jace? Brainstorming the stick? Yeah. Jace is like the 4th best Planeswalker ever printed. Super powerful card. It's really nice that it also just stops you from flooding out in the late game. Brainstorm on a stick, very powerful effect. +2 is a super good mode that you'll use all the time as well. Why not Toski today? I think Jeskai is better positioned for the PTQ metagame. It just like has a pretty good blue-red prowess and Heliod matchup. Not that we've played against either of those. What are the other top 3? I would put Oko, Rin in 6, and Karn the Great Creator above Jace. It's maybe a little bit arguable, but I would put Karn over Jace. Oh no, maybe Teferi Time Raveler. Yeah, maybe Jace is number 5. Yeah, I usually put Jace at 5 actually. Obviously. Yeah, I might put Karn over Teferi Time Raveler. I'm not sure. Like, Karn got Lattice banned. Karn is restricted in Vintage. But also, like, Jace and Teferi were, like, dominant in Standard, where Karn never was really very good in Standard. I feel like Karn is better without bans, but with current bans, it isn't as good. Maybe. I mean, Karn was also, like, nuts with Lattice. So Karn is like half banned in Modern, you know. Tibble calls a rules change. Yeah, do you consider Tibble a Planeswalker? Tibble, what, like, if you consider Tibble a Planeswalker, Tibble was like in Modern before the Cascade change. Why Oust? Oust is great in this metagame. It's very, very good. It also like is kind of cute with Teferi and Cleansing Wildfire. You can like oust their guy, then shuffle it away with Wildfire. But Oust is great. And I think. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. It's obviously all of this is like very subjective. You can argue, yeah, Jace without fetch lands would be much worse. In fact, I actually prefer Teferi Master of Time if you're playing a deck without fetch lands that wants a 4-mana Planeswalker, but it's obviously doesn't happen that often. How does Jace compare to 5-mana Teferi? Very close. Very close. I don't count Deathred Shaman as a Planeswalker, because actually if you look really closely, and this is something not a lot of people know, but Deathred Shaman actually has the creature type line. It's a creature that instead of, these aren't actually loyalty abilities, these are activated abilities that you have to spend mana on for 2 of them, which is super different from a Planeswalker where you don't have to spend mana on them. That's kind of like the giveaways that you have to spend mana. But Deathrite Shaman is actually a creature. Do I restart Magic Online like just in case it's on my end? It says my opponent's reconnected 3 times though. Oh my gosh. Even. Do I mind going deeper on Oust versus Path? Why? So the Monastery Swiftspear decks are super duper popular. There's also a lot of decks with mana dorks. Specifically the Heliod combo deck and the Blue-Red Prowess deck, which are the 2 best decks in the format. And it's not like Path is terrible against those decks, but if you are pathing a Swiftspear or pathing an Arbor Elf on turn 1 or 2, you're putting yourself behind. And so when those 2 decks are the most popular, it just doesn't make a ton of sense to play a removal spell that doesn't line as well. Clothis is a reincarnated Deathrite Shaman. Yes, and we all worship Clothis here. Praise be to Clothis. Look at this log, dude. Yeah, I really do hope that my opponent comes back and we reach the natural conclusion of this match. Winning to internet issues always stinks, as I've... Yeah, Blue-Red Prowess, like, they have all these they have all these fiery eyelids and lava darts that just like love that extra land. It's probably decent to path an Arbor Elf with Sprawl Forest behind it. I mean, it's something that you have to do and feel terrible about, where you're just like 0 for 1ing yourself. Oh yes, my opponents came back. Awesome. It feels terrible to do, and it's like when you're building your deck, you can either have Oust, which is good against Arbor Elf and Swiftspear, or you can have Path, which is bad. And you know, it's just kind of a no-brainer in this metagame, in my opinion. And Oust is like instant speed with Teferi Time Raveler. Oust is, shuffles their creature away with Wildfire. I've ousted my own Snapcaster to survive sometimes. It's kind of narrow. Oust is like specifically worse against Ponza and worse against... I guess I can't... I already have the Steamers in my hand. I might oust their Channeler, actually. Yeah, you know what? I actually would love for them to draw Channeler again. Yeah, you could play Condemn as well. But Condemn is worse against Arbor. Alright, they shuffle away the Channeler. Just have. I'm not saying it's time for Plow in Modern, although there are a subset of blue players who are like the greediest ever and want Swords of Plowshares and Counterspell in Modern. Just like the greediest ever. I think my opponent has Channeler. Kind of weird for them to cast Channeler here, right? When they have 3 spells in the yard. I feel like it would maybe have been good for them to wait a turn. Yikes. I'm not familiar with card hoarder services, Corky, so I don't have a recommendation for you. Sorry. Yeah, they had. I mean, maybe they just drew the bolt, but if they had bolts in their hand, I think it would have been good to wait on the Channeler. All right, well. Gonna come down to top decks just like last game. I'm kind of happy to see that they brought in Blood Moon against me. I actually don't think Blood Moon's that good in the matchup, since Wildfire can get me my basics. And it's also good to know about. If they plus, they lose their last card unless it's a land, so they don't plus. I think I'm minusing. Oh no, their last card is a spell, though. If I was gonna plus, I should not have played the Strand, so I'm gonna minus. Spyro. Discard Kroxa, that was pretty great. Nice. Should have saved the Logic Knot for the combo. I don't want to make a bigger Shark in my instep because that opens up my Shark to getting Liliana Edicted, and we know Liliana is one of my opponent's cards. So I'm probably making a 3/3 Shark with Snare up here. I think hardcasting is fine in the spot, but I think it's... So they have Liliana, 2 mystery cards, and Kroxa in the yard. Snare... Alright. Worked. You've been drawing well. I think I know that we could save the Snare for Kroxa, but I think it's better to do this. Brick. I'll leave the Shark back to block here. I have not really considered Deafening Clarion, no. I think Anger of the Gods Exile is usually more relevant if you want the 3-mana Burn Sweeper. This one has Liliana, Mystery Card, and Kroxa in the graveyard. We should be able to mana leak. That's something. Wow, they left in push. Alright. If we are going to draw a land, we definitely wanted to draw this. Alright, let's draw this Mana Leak. Jace on top is also something we are thrilled to have. How do I feel about the traditional naming convention for this sort of stack, ID, binder, control? I have no strong feelings about anything, really. If anybody has any tips for that, let me know. You guys remember feelings? Awesome. Feels like a little bit of an early scoop, but definitely get it. All right, 3-1. We beat the Ghosting Spirits player, and we beat what was round 2? Oh, the Belcher deck, and then we lost to Mill, which stinks because we have Nexus in our sideboard, but their draw game 3 was so I'm not sure. I feel like the 1-mana mana dorks are pretty high on the list though. Kind of the first thing that come to mind. Fatal Push / Thoughtseize are pretty high up there probably. I haven't been playing much Pioneer though. But you guys remember this deck? It was like 2-3 weekends ago. We were brewing in between rounds of the challenge. Is this it? Yeah. We were trying to Pyre of Heroes, Elder Deep Fiend into Void Winnower. This deck didn't really feel that bad. This deck was really cool. You get Fierce Empath, tutor up Deep Fiend. Alright, put a mold to 6 and then went Mountain Go. Interesting. Good mountain choice, though. This is one of my favorite mountains. I'm playing Steam Vents here, so if I draw Flagstones, I can Wildfire my Flagstones on turn 2. Also holding up Spell Snare, of course. Okay. This resolve. Cool. You ever play the big red deck with Chandra's Regulator? No. I did like the brew though. Might end up doing that at some point, but I didn't actually end up playing it. I think I want to save Wildfire for a blue source. It's also possible we get to like Spell Snare a Sprite Dragon. Why do you exclude Colonnade from the current list? I think Colonnade is really bad in a deck with Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, and Shark Typhoon, where you just don't want your lands to enter tapped. I have not been very high on Celestial Colonnade. This is a good matchup, by the way, in my opinion. One of the reasons to... So hopefully, like, we can force Manamorphose and they won't have another land, if that's the case. Oh, Swift Spear is pretty good. Because, like, one thing here is that if they Stormwing and they leave Teferi in play, then we can bolt the Stormwing. Man, not getting to Spell Snare, this is rough. I think that I think that I want to Wildfire away my opponent's blue source this turn. This feels important to me. Then bolt this. Their hand is Stormwing into Entity Mystery card, so it's pretty likely to work. Bolt, snap, bolt. No, I think because we know they have Entity in hand, it's better to wild. Notably, I'm not going to want to Wildfire them as two. Yeah, Blue Red Prowess doesn't play any islands. Island's pretty bad in their deck, I think. Yeah. I mean, they just have like so many red cards. Like, they're very, very much like mono reds. I think that island is pretty bad in their deck. It's like really only good against like Field of Ruin, Wildfire. I have like, you know, 2 blue sources, right? Yeah, this is game 1. Green, right? Yeah. Game 1 of a pretty good matchup. And again, I think that like Jeskai's got a pretty good prowess matchup, and this is one of the reasons I really like to play Jeskai right now. Usually sideboard close to this. Sometimes they leave in 1 shark, sometimes. Nexus is for the mill matchup, and it feels horrible because we lost to mill. That was our only loss this tournament. But like Nexus won us game 2, and then their draw game 3 was absurdly powerful. Just nuts. If we get to Spell Snare something here, I'm feeling pretty good. If I don't, I think we're in bad shape. They usually play 8 targets, 4 Manamorphose, 4 Dragon. Didn't you already determine the side swaps? I don't have a hard sideboard guide right now. I still am trying out a few different things in different matchups. Am I going to Wildfire this turn? I think it's better to Helix. Better to Helix. Usually it's better to Helix Swift Spear, but because we have Platinum Emperion, Soulscar Mage can deal with the Emperion, so I think we want to deal with that. But Teferi is way better against Mage. So it is a conversation, I think. Alright, well, feels bad for them to get that in underneath the snare. What you gonna do? Oh my gosh, thank good. That was a misclick. Thank goodness I didn't have any blue mana floating. That'd just be a game losing misclick there. Why didn't we fetch Triome? I think it's better to get the Triome off the Flagstones in that spot. So I'm really, really hoping that I can snap Helix the Dragon. Spell Snare something here. Hold. Hoping for no 0 mana spell. I guess it has to be exactly Mutagenic Growth. Can't be Gut Shot in this spot. Feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. Getting to Helix, Snap Helix, and just get that 6 life buffer is so big in this matchup. The Lava Dart's pretty good for them. They're sacking the Dart, though, when they've been missing lands. I'm kind of surprised to see that. So they must have light at the stage. They did hit 2 more lands. Fair enough. They have 2 spells as well. Kind of scary. Hit for 4 down to 8. Madcap would be a good draw. I'm going to snap Wildfire my Flagstones, though. It's kind of nice that this gets thinned. Or, sorry, it's nice that our deck gets thinned by doing this. Just get 2 lands out of our deck when we're flooding a bit. Really reduces the chain. Yeah, I think they'll have a dart line. Pretty sure I'm mana leaking anything here. So it seems like they have about casting. So 2 spells and new card. Like their hand is definitely 2 spells and a mystery card here. Easy mana leak. Easy just mana leak anything. And I don't think I'm chumping this turn. I think I'm gonna wait a turn. We don't die to dart. If they had dart, they would have probably darted the snap. Verdict. And then double bolt range now. Yeah, I mean, they just aren't that good at burning you out. Obviously, now that I drew the verdict, chumping would have been way better, so maybe that was the line. Then onto 1 card. Maybe I should. I don't think I'm supposed to castle upkeep this turn. Maybe I should. Feels kind of close. Yeah, with 4 mana after the scry, though, it's like we really just get punished by drawing Teferi. I guess we could also just draw like any spell to interact with. Oh my gosh. Alright, we need to find Madcap. Maybe Snapcaster for the verdict. Top. Kind of like to wait. I don't know, it's so bad against Dart, but maybe. It's a real shame. Red players never change anything. There are things to do. Yeah. I think that I agree that a lot of times linear players who play of a generalization. All right, I think I'm gonna castle here. They didn't have it. I'm saying it's really bad against them top decking Dart. I think it was good to just fire off the verdict, but could totally be wrong. I guess we keep the Teferi. I don't know. It's really not that good. We also could have drawn. We could have also drawn Emperion. So maybe like the fact that we could draw Emperion off of this is really bad, but victory, I guess. Can't. Risky to do it on the 3. I mean, I have Platinum Emperion in play shape anyways. Well, the thing is, like, we can just hold the Helix, and if they kill this, we can also still gain 3. We haven't seen a Braids, no. Pretty sure last time I played you, matchup was a hot minute ago, got demolished by Emperion as well. I think it's also probably better to, like, save Major Sprite Dragon, too. Wild Slash doesn't stop Emperion. With Teferi in play, we don't need. I am going to kill the dragon. I guess I'll like maybe let them attack. Doesn't really matter. Notably, we don't get to gain life, so big Nombo with the big Nombo with Emperion. Bottom top? I guess saving an Oust for a... Soulscar Mage is like good enough. Do I play Paper Magic as well as MTGO? I did, and then there's like something about a global pandemic I can't really remember. Started like a minute ago. Playing against Yorion. I'm gonna keep this hand. I'm way more... We killed all the dead air. Thank goodness. So probably playing against Niv, right? Maybe this hand's not good against Niv. But thank goodness we get to Helix this bird. So lucky. Could be like, a Soul Herder deck of some kind. Kiki Chord. It's not definitely. Kind of nice. We have wildfires for this. I'm gonna bounce it with Teferi probably their next turn. They do name white. Enigmatic Incarnation. Ooh, it might be. That's awesome to see that DTQ. It's exciting. The MDAFC Emeria. I think you don't want it in this deck because you already have like 4 Flagstones, which are just at that point you just have too many white sources. So I really want to draw a land. If we don't draw a land, we have a tough decision. Okay, never mind. Now we have a pretty easy decision to just draw step Wildfire on their forest. Which makes the land intertap. Land there is not a great draw though. They're down to only 3 cards in hand. One of them is a pretty good one, an Abrupt Decay for a Teferi. Teferi Hero off the top? No, but we will take a Cryptic Command. We will take a Cryptic Command. Alright, so they are almost definitely Niv and not Enigmatic Incarnation. Pretty sure we're Crypticing. Mana Leak's like way better if we draw Jace or Teferi Hero, and I just kind of want to get my 2 for 1, right? Poggers. We even have to shuffle off the Flagstones. So sick. That's not my dog, by the way, outside. I feel like I'm getting self-conscious because people keep asking. That's the kind of unloved dog from outside. Alright, I think I'm going to force this. Pitch the Mana Leak. They only have 1 card in their hand. Wooded Foothills, and they put Yorion into their hand. Winning game 1's a pretty big deal because we have a lot of... This is pretty game over. I'm feeling good today. I'm feeling in the zone. It's just like game 1 we've got all these burn spells, like which can like sometimes kill a Birds of Paradise, but just aren't that good. But in games 2 and 3 we have Tail's End and Mystical Dispute and Aether Gust, which are all bangers. I think I want to play the 4th Force. Yeah, I think I just want no spot removal spells. Maybe I would. Do I want to play? I guess I have to choose between one Verdict, one of these, or sometimes I think I did bring in Nexus of Fate before. Sometimes Nexus of Fate outgrinds them. They don't play very many Birds of Paradise, and like even if they do, it's like you can like balance it with Teferi or Gust it. Surprised you're not playing with a stream delay. I really hate streaming with a delay. It's like, honestly at this point, it's if I'm like that worried about ghosting, I just turn off the stream. But streaming without a delay is really zero fun for me. Just not being able to interact with chat. And we did get ghosted in round 1. We were able to win. But our opponent like was just like in the chat, making some sus plays before we put up the hand hider. You play Oust as a cost-efficient answer. I don't know. It's just like it. I think that that's a fine plan, because it does also hit Omnath and stuff. I think we're just trying to counter those for the most part. We have some other answers too, like Gust. I'm gonna mulligan this. Awkward hand. This hand's way better. Let's keep this, put back Scalding Tarn, I think. Could be a blue card for Force. Yeah, we put up the hand hider and our opponent had no idea what to do. Nexus over 4th Force. I have both in the deck. Keep Verdict. You could do that. I feel like Verdict is not that good against them, but it's also certainly not that bad. They don't have the mana to play Teferi Time Raveler this turn, so I don't feel like we need to hold up Mana Leak very badly. No, I'm not accusing my current opponent of sniping. I'm just saying we did get sniped earlier. Oh, second Wrenn and 6. Feels bad. Why? What? I'm not going to Tails in this Wooded Foothills if they... If we draw Teferi... Tailsin is definitely like the premium counterspell here, so I'm going to use Mana Leak. Super punished by Veil of Summer. They get their stupid 2-for-1. I guess I could have just like Tails into the Wooded Foothills. Maybe that was better because they very clearly had Veil of Summer about it, but that was probably better to do. Now we're in bad shape. At least we have game 3 on the play. Being on the play is huge in this matchup, of course. It's an interesting draw. Yeah, countering the Tomb or the fetch line would have worked out way better. Keep them off of like Niv Mizzet this turn. Weird. Why would they main phase this? It was probably just a misclick, right? Yeah, I think they meant to cast Abundant Growth. Obviously. Don't think we can afford to hard cast the views, but... We're doing a 5/5 Shark. I hope my opponent's hand is bad. Could you push through the Emblem with the Hardcast Typhoon? I don't know. Maybe. Thing is also like we don't have like gas in our hand really, so it's like if we Bring to Light for 4. I mean, probably just get Omnath, but oh, right. I'll take a draw step. Hero into Cryptic Command. Winning this game would be the most absurd thing I've ever done. I can't minus. I guess I could minus on the Wrenn and 6. How crazy is that? Gust or something. Okay, I am glad that my opponent's misclicked and it cost them the game. Yeah, I think on the play especially, I just don't really want to be on the play. They're even better. This hand. I think this is a keep on the play. Can I talk about the reason? I mean, Nexus of Fate I think is better than a spot removal spell. These games are super grindy, and Nexus is a pretty grindy card in matchups like the close decision, though. Maybe this hand was a mulligan, but I feel like the upside is here. Yep, turn 2. Interesting decision to minus there. Pretty sure I'm Teferi bouncing their bird. Teferi also shuts off their Bring to Lights, which is pretty nice. So next turn we can go like... I guess we can't play Jace. Wait, they don't have a land? Okay, we can't play Jace. But we can fix our mana at least. And then we can maybe bounce Teferi with Cryptic and keep Force up for it next turn. Or can we Cryptic plus Logic Knot? We could have if we drew a Blue Source and I had played a land. We'll punish there. But instead, I'm gonna go bounce draw, and then I'm gonna main phase Gust to play around Veil. And I'm pretty happy if they just put it on top and then that's their whole turn. They put it on the bottom. I guess they can't even replay Teferi without drawing a land. We're so lucky they haven't drawn a land. Now they're discarding 2 cards. Well, I mean, so you have to get lucky to win these PTQs. And I feel very lucky right now. Discarded 2 nifs last month, but that's ended. But, you know, shout out to Encounter Party. I did like working with them. We're playing against Lap, who usually plays Hammer Time. So if Luris is revealed, I'll expect Hammer Time. Sponsored by you guys. But, you know, I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste your time. They reveal Yorion. Oh, man. Lap usually plays creature decks, and we have a Verdict. I think I'm keeping this on the draw. It's very close. We only have 1 Verdict in the deck. I also want to finish this match real quick. I think I'm keeping this on the draw. Oh, sorry, I'm on the play. Oh my gosh, double Q. I feel like we're pretty ahead in this game, though. Which is the game that doesn't matter nearly as much. My opponent is still... They're mulliganing to 5. Interesting. I'm going to get the Lavamancer here again. I mean, this hand is probably still fine, just like against the creature deck, a hand that has like all creature removal but needs like just 1 red to function. I think it's a fine keep, especially against like a slower creature deck like Taxes. Yeah, there's no chance this makes a YouTube video, or like there's no way I'd ever ask my editor to turn this into one. Castable spell, hell yeah. Alright. Please. Damn. They put Luris into the... Nice. Well, we might 5-0 this league, which is exciting. This game is going to be very interesting how long I guess we can't really wait on the Verdict, actually, if we draw a land. Yeah, Tech Edge. I'm scared to yield through end of turn unless it's safe in both games, because there's a bug where if you yield through turn in one of your double queue matches, turn in the other one. Okay. Alright, well, Randy the Arbiter here. We're pretty ahead in this game. Have push, but they didn't have a stop set. Bad beats. Also push our own Watcher to get Soul Herder if we're desperate. Alright. Happy to have Logic not up. And I think I'm going to fetch a basic Plains on my turn to play around Mind Sensor. I want to get a basic to play around the Tech Edge. Maybe they'll Tech Edge my Flagstones. Opponent's tanking over here. To their hands, which is pretty fine. Not too worried if they feel now. Alright, no monkey to worry about. Game over. Oh man. Actually is gonna get me with Field of Ruin. It's not that. My I want them to. My opponent should probably Ghost Quarter my mountain. They tapped their Tech Edge. I think I'm just getting Sacred Foundry. Ooh, getting to Wildfire, that's pretty nice. Go. Well, I guess it's better to Wildfire the Ghost Quarter against the Typhoon, but... Right. Back to feeling like this is game over. How are we 4 minutes ahead on time over here? It's so ridiculous. It can't feel bad, right? If you're 4 minutes ahead on time. How does that even happen? My opponent has no right to complain. Not damn. Lab is nice enough to concede. Okay, so against taxes, I don't like Force of Negation. Snapcaster is a little awkward because of Archon, so I usually trim one. Wildfire is actually pretty good against Lean and Arbiter. I do usually end up bringing in... You can cut Logic Knot. You can cut the third Teferi Time Raveler. You can cut the third Cryptic. Let's cut the third Cryptic. I think I want to cut a 4-drop. And just try to finish this map. They were pretty ahead in this game. Get on to Alright, Hex Drinker. Tails in for quarter effects. I sometimes actually like way lower on that than I used to be. Yambi is actually a lethal threat here. Glasspool Mimic can only copy creatures you control. Clone ever. Keep. Put him to 6. Tough stuff. Only the 5-game one's gotta be frustrating. It's like Mola 6, obviously you just have a great hand. It's better to pick up one that's less mana, right? They didn't level their Hex Drinker with their last mana. I guess they just don't want to tap it. Go to 1. Come on. Alright. Please, please, please play Lean and Arbiter. I guess, I mean, we could honestly lose if they do play Arbiter, but to Wildfire, the Arbiter player. Second Giver. Not playing around any tricks here. Well, they did have Arbiter. I guess what we want to do here is go Wildfire, their only white source, then Bolt. This is nasty. Our PT Cube match might... A chump block, right? Or maybe I'm not supposed to... Maybe I'm supposed to keep wall in case of Soul Herder, actually. There. Worst Glory Seeker ever. Name Teferi Time Raveler. I'm probably going to snap Wildfire my Flagstones here. Get up to hard casting this. Also always nice to do this against the men. Just ramp a bit. Our top decks are way here. Head on cards, head on. We're still ahead on time in this match. It's unreal that we're ahead on time. We've been double queuing for like... place that I like. No removal spell for the Arbor Elf feels bad, of course. What are you going to do? Hopefully they might have Utopia Sprawl for us to Wildfire though. They do. Awesome. It's kind of bad if they have Utopia Sprawl plus. But if they do, they're floating green. Okay. Tough call here. Thank you, V, for value for your resubscription. Appreciate you. You're you know, infinitely more subscribed than my partner is at the moment. And she even has Amazon Prime too, so there's really no... I kind of just want a Helix, right? I'm off of one. Hey, Tannen. Yeah, it's been a great Sunday so far. The thing about this matchup is Infinite Life just doesn't us. I probably should go to Prairie stream though, actually, not Steam Vents. Be fine. We did 5-0 with Inverter, yeah. Inverter Herder. A name that will stick. A name that will stick. Probably, I think I'm holding up Mana Leak here. I'm just helixing a Dork. Okay. What do you mean Infinite Life doesn't work on us? If opponent gains Infinite Life by with Jace the Mind Sculptor or Teferi Hero of Dominaria, at all. Wait, what? Oh, lifelink. I mean, this is fine. I'm just. I think it's good to bounce the Hierarch, just get the counters off there. Better if we had drawn a land though, but we didn't. They sacked the Canopy. There's Hierarch Mystery card. It's a lot of dorks. But I actually feel like we're pretty ahead here, even though my opponent has Infinite Life. At least somewhat ahead. You could have like a sick Coco or resolve a Ranger Captain maybe, but mostly feeling pretty good. Yeah, these fries are super salty. I mostly go to this place for the burger. The burger is really good. So do I snap Helix this Arbor Elf, or do I way better against like top decked Ranger Captain? They also notably, like, you know, they do have 4 mana up here. I think I'm still gonna cycle a Shark, just get a 2/2 body into play as a blocker, not an attacker. If they did not do it, awesome. But Teferi Hero is pretty. So we get bounce Heliod, draw Helix the Hierarch. I'm gonna do that. I think my opponents seem to be F6'd, or at least that resolves super fast. Now it seems like they're un-F6'd. Helix. My opponent has not drawn, you know, Ranger Captain or Coco here. I'm feeling really good about our spot. One of their 2 cards is Prismatic Vista. The other card is a spell, maybe our Skyclave. Ah, that does kind of make sense for them to have. Pretty sure we're just Teferi plussing. We have Mana Leak up, which should stop Ballista from getting us. We can also draw a Lightning Bolt. Shark is actually a good blocker here. How does Teferi win against Infinite Life? You exile all their permanents with the emblem, and then you can -3 on itself so you don't deck yourself. You also have Jace the Mind Sculptor Ultimate to win. Hey, Zach. Yeah, still no attacks for me. They should have like 2 more basics, right? Can't really remember. Game's super over though, I think. They have 4 forests usually. That makes sense. Some 6 basics. Esther 7 months. Thank you, Esther. No cap. With or without the subscription. And I here just making them draw it. The Typhoon of Doom. Opponent didn't concede to Teferi, so they might not actually know that we can win with Teferi. We usually cut Oust in this matchup. Usually trim on forces as well. I think we can play the first Tails End. Double Gust. Obviously, we don't know if they have choke or not. Also, with the Shark. I don't love this. Definitely keep if I knew my opponent was going to be on Utopia Sprawl. Ranger Captain's very good though. That's super surprising. Verdict is not a bad pickup. Obviously, we need to... Damn it! Fun card. Play the third Gust on the play. It's been on the play for game 3 at least. Keep. Do I want to get Sacred Foundry on turn 1? I don't think I can do that. Cool. Main phase Gust because of Veil of Summer. Mostly Veil. They put the Hierarch on the bottom. Man, losing this... I think we're just supposed to Teferi bounce Conclave Mentor here. If we lose this game to choke as well, like, we get to Rage, right? But I don't think I can afford to play around it with my hand. And they don't have it. It's so sick. Awesome. We do need to draw a land here. It's a pretty good turn. And we didn't draw the land. And they have Coco, and we need them to brick. Brick accomplished. Still not out of the fire yet, but maybe out of the frying pan. Helix Ballista before they could put a counter on it and make it a 4/4. Oh, I should have attacked for 1 first. Probably not going to matter too much. Conclave Mentor is the worst card in the matchup, by the way, I think. See if they have Veil. Just getting basic island here. Veil of Bummer. Sitting out on the 1 point. Maybe I was supposed to tap draw here. Yeah, I needed to tap draw here. Because they're just not going to run the Ballista until all this open. Oh, they'll just do this as well. Yeah. I don't think we're winning anyways, but if we tap draw, we have a Verdict to win. Super hard at the breakers there, but being in 21st with 2 rounds to go, I think is a solid chance. Alright, if they're Niv, this is a bad hand. They did reveal Yorion. Have like a lot of 5-0s with Niv or something. Nope. Not many results. Doesn't that make me happy? I don't find results? No. I'd rather see leagues with taxes or a million leagues with Niv and have information as opposed to no information. When given the choice, always choose information. Yeah, my breakers are pretty decent after the window. And it looks like they are playing Niv, so like maybe we should have mulliganed. Newer account. We did beat Niv earlier, but I don't think it's a very good matchup. I don't think I'm supposed to Helix there. Maybe I am. Nervous? No. I don't feel anything. Or maybe I'll be nervous, like, but they don't get back their Misty? Jeez. Can't do anything. About anything. So I'm gonna respond to them fetching so that I can play around Kaya's Guile. You guys remember Feelings? We also have only drawn spell or lands this game, which isn't ideal. No, when you qualify for the arena PTs, they give you an account that has cards on it. Snap to attack Renin Helix. Them do. Ten rounds actually pretty good. So if we can win this one and the next one, we have I think a decent chance to top 8. Gonna have to draw like perfectly, and they're gonna have to draw not that well. Helix is not quite perfectly. Although in some games it is. Yeah, Ousting on that stings for sure. The good news is they shuffled it away, so still better than Path. They put Kaya's Guile, Unarmored Ego, and Renin 6 into their hand. Well, I feel like I'm not sure what we could even draw to keep playing. But I'll take a draw step. Discard 2 lands. Well, on to game 2. Definitely not the kind of draw for that matchup. But the matchup does get way better post-board. These cards specifically are great. Last time I boarded like this, but maybe I actually want the Ousts because they answer Birds of Paradise and they answer Omnath and Niv, although not super well, but they at least get them off the board. I just don't want to draw them. Yeah. We'll just, I might bring these in on the play or one. Why else versus Helix? I cited out all the Helixes already. So I'm confused by your question. I'm going to keep this on the play. They have Valky as well. I mean, yeah, but they have very few creatures. And like you also have like a Aether Gust that answer most of their creatures as well. I'm just going to cycle this. I'll have to force that. Big draw step. If I can draw an interactive spell, I'm feeling pretty good. If I draw a Flooded Strand, I'm not feeling that good. But Jace is a nice card to have. Yorion into the hand. Okay. Probably couldn't have hoped for much better than that. I keep fetching Steam Vents in this spot. I need to be fetching Prairie Stream. I'm going to hope my opponent didn't leave in Helix, which I think they probably shouldn't leave in Helix. I'm also going to conceal. No. I don't want to like hide Cryptic on top because if my opponent trophies my Jace, be able to get the land. Untapping with Jace, the Mind Sculptor. Breathing a bit easier. I think I'm going to keep Castle Vantress over Scalding Tarn. Very close. What discard do they run? Usually just Thoughtseize. Brainstorm, of course. Play around free. I think it's better to play around. They took Time Raveler, so they probably have Bring to Light in their hand. I feel like drawing Tails in means I cannot lose this game, though. I like to be in a position where I feel like I cannot lose. Maybe. We can answer Veil. Yeah, but taking Teferi could also mean Veil, yeah. I also missed a land. Alright, well, pretty lopsided games 1 and 2. I think on the draw here I'm going to play 1 Oust over the Nexus. This is a keep on the draw. I guess I'm hoping that my opponent has a Utopia Sprawl. If there's like nothing I want to force on turn 1, right? Disagree. Force on the draw is really important to stop Renin 6. So playing this does mean that I can't Wildfire my own Flagstones on turn 2, but I think it's no Renin 6 on turn 2. Kind of nice. Suppose it doesn't matter. Fire. 1. Yeah, doesn't matter at all. Really nice that they don't have a so we can have a counter spell up next turn. Yeah, Force is super important on the draw. Or like guarantee having a counter spell, even if it's not a good one. But if they have like Omnath this turn, it's pretty bad for us. If they have Teferi plus Veil, it's pretty bad for us. Oh my gosh. I have so many counters to this. There's not any in hand. Tell you guys this, but Omnath resolving with peace and love after this very tense PTQ match. Having a hard time answering questions. Alright, we need to draw a Tail's End, an Aether Gust. So many things. Well, it's not. I'm partially shocking so that maybe they think I have a counterspell, but I'm also going to cycle my Triome. We're not 0%. We're going to play tight, and you know it's important in spots like this not to get too tilted. And like, you know, maybe you could actually win this game somehow. Probably not now. Kai's got Rin and 6 Nahiri into the hand. I maybe could have left in Verdict over Oust in shitty shape anyways, so not a lot of a point. If we draw exactly Aether Gust, maybe we have a chance. Probably not. Okay, that is what I asked for. Although it's no, just too slow. Because just the maybe I wasn't supposed to bounce. I will say that while I don't think we have a chance to win this game, winning this game would be the cool. It would just be like, I would talk about it for years. Yeah, they can't cast Omnath with their current mana. I mean, I think they still have a land. But I would talk about winning this game for years if I win. Probably a bit much to ask for. But I flash and snap. No, they. I even cited out the Nexus, so I can't just like put a Snapcaster in play and draw Nexus 10 times in a row. That should get me out of this. It's all so clear. Well, we did play against Niv earlier. They got like super mana screwed game 3. They discarded Guile to hand size, so they don't definitely have it. Just a second one. Tough stuff. Tough stuff. That's the thing about these 10-round PTQs. You play well. I think we played pretty well today, and I think we had a good deck. But you just get unlucky against Heliod, you get unlucky against Mill. I feel like we got unlucky there too. And then you're 6-3 and you're dead for top 8. But good run, good stream today. I'm gonna play the 10th round off stream, but I've been live for almost 8 hours and my head hurts. You could have Snapcasted in response. The game's over. Game's over.